I was talking to a friend the other day and we got on the topic of financial independence and early retirement. The acronym is FIRE, just so you know. Now, he's not completely sold on it, but had a few questions for me. I've been at this thing for a few years, so I was more than happy to fill him in on whatever he wanted to know. Not to mention, my ultimate goal is to secretly incept everyone's mind with the thought of pursuing FIRE. I'm just kidding, I would never do that to you, or am I? But anyways, I figured it would make sense to put some of those topics that we talked about into a video. So in this one, I'm gonna go through some things to know about financial independence and early retirement that I've picked up along the way. Hey, I'm Jarrad with an A, and on this channel, we talk about all things personal finance, investing, and of course, financial independence. I know on the surface this looks to be true, but financial independence and early retirement isn't only for young people. It's easy to assume that's the case though, since most of the headlines that we see mention how she retired in her early 20s or he retired early with $3 million at the age of 32. We have to remember that headlines are there to catch our attention, so of course they're going to go with the one that says she retired at the age of 27 as opposed to he retired early at the age of 50, because that's not as sexy. Yes, it's easier to make it happen the younger you get started, but I'd argue that the vast majority of people who are pursuing this type of lifestyle aren't actually going to achieve it at an extremely young age. Let's face it, consumer debt has been on the rise over the past 15 years. Most people are starting in the hole, and trying to work through that mess is a tough road as it is. Yeah, if I hadn't racked up $82,000 in debt that I had to clean up first, then of course I'd be further ahead than I am right now. But you can't change the dumb decisions that we all made in the past, so all we can really do is focus on what we're doing going forward. Here's the two ways that I look at it. Number one, if you can afford to leave work before the age of 59 and a half, then you can retire early based on the traditional retirement age. And number two, if you're someone who is older and based on your current trajectory, you can't actually retire until you're 70, then as long as you're able to do so before the age of 70, then you're technically pursuing FIRE, but it's based on a different age. Basing whether or not you can retire early on your current age and current situation is a better way to think about this whole thing. We all start out at different spots with different circumstances, so don't let that stop you from improving your finances and pursuing your financial independence journey going forward. No matter which early retirement age you are targeting, your savings rate is everything. This is the number that will make or break your chances of ever achieving FIRE. Yes, it's even more important than the returns you're receiving on your investments. If you are pursuing financial independence, then we're assuming you're trying to stockpile as much money as possible as quickly as possible. We're going to have some help with the growth through the returns received by having the money invested. But the more money that we can shove into the bag, the faster it's going to grow. Would you rather have a stack of $30,000 giving you a 7% return, or a stack of $60,000 giving you that same 7% return? Of course you're going to choose the $60,000. The only difference is that lump sum amount. And the only way to get that lump sum amount is through your savings rate, how much you have left over after your normal expenses. Here's an example of how much faster you can retire by increasing your savings rate. Let's say you're taking home $100,000 per year and you're setting aside $50,000 per year, which is a 50% savings rate. When you retire early, you've determined that you want to continue living off the same amount that you're living off of right now. For this example, since your income is $100,000 and your savings rate is 50%, then you're good with this $50,000 per year income in early retirement. At a 7% investment return and keeping that 50% savings rate, you'd be able to achieve your early retirement goal in 15 years. If you're able to increase that savings rate to 54%, which means that you'd live off of $46,000 per year in early retirement, then you can retire a year and a half sooner. If you're able to increase your savings rate from 50 to 60%, which means that you live off of $40,000 per year in early retirement, then you'll be there in 11.4 years. Just by increasing your savings rate by 10%, you're able to quit work if you choose to 3.5 years sooner. It's easy to think that you cannot increase your savings rate until you're forced to, but we've recently seen a real-life example of what happens when you do. In April of 2020, we saw the national savings rate spike since most people were stuck inside and forced to cut back on things that they'd normally spend money on. It went from hovering around 7 to 8% to hitting as high as 32%. We didn't even see it get that high back during the 2008 financial crisis. To increase your savings rate doesn't mean that you have to lock yourself up like there's another health crisis. It just means spending more time doing other low-cost or even free activities and really thinking about what you're actually spending your money on. If you're getting some value from this video, do me a huge favor and Hulk smash that thumbs up button. You kind of have to shift around the way that you think of things a little bit. You have to want a sense of freedom by being financially independent more than you want to spend money on things that'll bring you more short-term happiness. When someone asks me what they can do to achieve financial independence or early retirement, I tell them that they can't live the same way that they're living right now. What got you here will not get you there. It's usually at that point where I get one of two responses. Number one, they are absolutely intrigued and want to know more. They're super excited. Or number two, they're completely turned off by the idea because making a change can be really uncomfortable at first. The level of change is going to be different for everyone based on what their life is like right now. If someone who just graduated college asked me that same question, then I just tell them to continue living like a broke college student for as long as possible. On the other hand, the more someone is settled into a certain lifestyle, the more difficult it might be. If Sally is making $200,000 per year and has been living based on that amount, then her lifestyle might be pretty inflated. That would make her change even more uncomfortable, even though that higher income would afford her the ability to achieve financial independence faster, since she's doing well in that income category. Because the FIRE path is a little unconventional, the normal retirement investing rules don't 100% apply to someone headed in that direction. The average person is investing so that they can withdraw their money after the age of 59 and a half. The person who is pursuing FIRE and plans on leaving work before that age is going to need to access their investments earlier than that. To be able to access the money early, you need to know about things like a backdoor Roth IRA, a Roth conversion ladder, the pro rata rule, a mega backdoor Roth, an HSA, why you'd want to invest in a Roth IRA over a traditional IRA depending on your income, and why it makes more sense to invest in something like a traditional 401k over a Roth 401k. If your head is spinning after I rattled off all of those words, then don't feel bad because mine was the first time that I learned about each of them as well. I honestly had to go over each of them a few times until it finally stuck. I do have a plan to release videos breaking down each one of these and how they'll work together to help you access retirement money before the age of 59 and a half, so keep an eye out for those videos. Once those videos are released, I'll have them in my financial independence playlist and linked up down in the description of all of my videos. If you're someone who doesn't know about all of these things yet, then continue investing in the same accounts that you are right now until you learn more about the what, why, and how. Being able to access retirement investment accounts early sounds weird in and of itself, but you should get used to it because people are going to think that you are a super weirdo by pursuing financial independence or early retirement. If you're like me and people already think that you're a little strange, then this should be a pretty easy transition for you. They're going to look at you like you're somewhat of an outcast when you're building up your nest egg, since you're doing very unconventional things. Packing lunches as opposed to eating out at work, maybe having one drink as opposed to 3, saying you can't afford something even though you technically can. And they're going to think that you're even weirder when you do end up leaving work while they have to continue working for another 20 or 30 years since they didn't pursue the financial independence path. I don't say this to put down the normal path of retirement because that way suits a lot of people perfectly fine. But it seems to me like the people who are pursuing FIRE have kind of unlocked a little life cheat code that not many people know about. I like to compare it to seeing someone do a magic trick, then learning how that trick is actually done. Once you know, you can never look at that trick the same way that you did before. You cannot unsee what you just saw. Another thing that I've found to be super helpful that you might as well is reviewing my numbers every month to make sure that I'm on track and just to see the progress. Since reaching financial independence or early retirement might take a little while, it can be easy to lose sight and forget why you're doing it. This is a super easy way to help you stay motivated along the way. I kind of compare it to the motivation that I got from tracking the balance of my debts while I was paying those annoying things off for years. You probably don't have to do this every month, but I'd say to do it at least every few months. There's net worth trackers out there like Personal Capital, but I prefer to log into a spreadsheet that I created for myself. For some, this manual process might be a little annoying, but it doesn't take that long to do if you're someone like me who wants to keep a closer eye on all of his accounts. Make sure to Hulk smash that thumbs up button before you go. Also, check out the description for more resources and playlists to help you out with all of your personal finance, investing, and financial independence needs, and of course to get your 2 free stocks from Webull as well. Watch these fire videos to your left next. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Adios.